Indigo Airlines has been ordered to end leasing Turkish airline aircraft. Why did this happen in the first place? My guess here, I'm just connecting the dots. Indigo has been on an expansion spree and they probably needed aircraft because now they have this connection to Europe using Turkish Airlines where they would take passengers from many places in India and go into Istanbul, and from there Turkish Airlines would fly them to their ultimate destination. This was one working arrangement. On top of that, we know that Indigo had ordered, I think, 300 plus 300 aircraft for both Airbus and Boeing. Some say that the Boeing order got converted back into an Airbus order. So there are lots of planes that need to be delivered for Indigo, but they were growing so fast that they wanted planes, which is probably why they leased planes from Turkey. Now, the Indian government has told them to stop leasing airplanes from Turkish Airlines. This is a huge economic blow for Turkey, and more importantly, for Indigo, it also is going to mean that they will not be able to grow as fast as they like to in the past. So maybe they will go back and turn the screws on Airbus to deliver their planes even faster. So this is where things stand. But there are many other implications. Why did this happen? Why did this come about? Of course, we know that Turkey had a role to play in the Operation Sindoor. They had their operators operating their drones, and Turkey suffered a lot of losses, 300 to 400 of their 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗥𝗏 drones, the one that is basically run by Erdoğan through his son-in-law. These things have really got a pasting, all that and more. I have a small slide deck to share with you. A small request to all of you to like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe. Here we go. Indigo has been ordered by Indian government to end Turkish aircraft lease. So what was the number? I'll come to that in just a moment. The reason is that India is deliberately, step by step, acting against Turkey-linked firms. The 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗍 Aviation, we know in Mumbai, they were going to, not just Mumbai, but 9 different airports. They were doing ground handling firm, and they were doing ground handling, and now those things are on hold, although Bombay High Court has put a stay on it. But I'm sure this will be vacated fast. When Indian government needs to move, wants to move, it will move fast. So that's a matter for a different day. The government cited national security concerns stemming from Turkey's support for Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. So far, it is known that Indigo operates 2 Boeing 777s leased from Turkish Airlines via a damp lease agreement. A 777 is a fairly big plane. So my guess is they were doing some of their major routes, maybe from Mumbai to Istanbul, or New Delhi to Istanbul. Probably that's where they were using it. Maybe there were more such lease arrangements in the pipeline. I think India has moved in, nip it in the bud. The lease was valid till the 31st of this month, and now Indigo requested a 6-month extension, which was denied by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. To prevent disruption for passengers, a final 3-month extension was granted until August 31st, 2025. So they have a 3-month window in which they'll have to find some other airline which can give them these 2 aircraft. The ministry emphasized that this is a one-time, last and final extension, and no further renewals will be entertained. Some of you may ask me, what is a damp lease agreement? A damp lease is a lease agreement where the aircraft is provided with cockpit crew, pilots, by the lessor, in this case Turkish Airlines, but the cabin crew, maintenance, and ground operations are handled by Indigo. So it's a split agreement. The pilots are from Turkish Airlines, but the rest of the crew handling all that is being done by Indigo. It falls between a dry lease, where it is an aircraft only lease, and a wet lease, where aircraft plus full crew plus maintenance plus insurance. So it's somewhere in between the dry and the wet, called the damp lease. The typical these are typically done, like I said, to bridge fleet gaps or expand international routes temporarily. So this is one other thing. Also, I expect that traffic where people will be going to European as well as United States, Canada destinations via the Istanbul route. They may be planning alternatives. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. I would rather pay $200, $400 extra and go direct using Air India. That would be my first choice, because nothing beats getting into the plane in India and getting out in United States and vice versa. I don't want to waste time in a small stopgap airport, 6 hours of waiting time, a waste of time in my opinion. Now, what has the Indigo CEO have to say about it? He said that the airline is fully compliant with Indian regulations. He acknowledged only two of the Indigo's 400 plus aircraft are leased from Turkish Airlines, that is the B777s. Elbers confirmed that if the government changes rules, Indigo will adjust accordingly and prioritize passenger trust and continuity of service. This is a rap on the knuckles, or maybe a little bit more slap on the face. I don't know. Turkey really has done something wrong in this, but try telling it to them. The other interesting thing is, now I'm hearing that World Bank is going to give 40 billion aid to Pakistan. See, look, these are all not coming from the World Bank entity or the IMF entity. My information is that some of these rich Islamic nations are using these entities as pass-throughs to put money into Pakistan, because they feel that still there is a lot of money to be recovered from 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗥𝗏, which is why US is interested, which is why China is interested. And I'm also told that China has been now starting to talk to the BLA also, which would be not good for India, because India has stood behind them morally for a long time now. On 15th of May, the Indian government banned 𝗟𝗏. Of course, the Bombay High Court has put a stay, but I don't know if the stay is conditional only on one airport or whether it applies to all the 9 airports, whether the Bombay High Court has a jurisdiction to have it apply across the country. I don't know. I'll have to look at that, but we'll have more updates on that. Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Muralidhar Mohl, referenced Turkey's support to Pakistan and called the move a precautionary measure. The Delhi High Court, when hearing 𝗟𝗏's appeal, stated the rule is better safe than sorry. What was the role of Turkey in Operation Sindoor? It was India's military response to the terror attack in Pahalgam, where 26 civilians were killed. I'm told close to 15,000 militants are sitting in POJK wanting to enter India. I mean, if they know where they are located, well, a lot of possibilities. Turkey supported Pakistan diplomatically and condemned India's action. By the way, even Colombia told the Indian delegation to its face that they support Pakistan. Panama sided with India. I don't know what Guyana did, but I suspect Guyana would have supported India. So you have all these China's cat's paws who will do whatever China wants them to do. In this, China is the biggest loser because their equipment has been shown in very poor light. Turkey also has a problem. When they try to sell drones, now they'll be compared against the American drones as well as the Chinese drones, and who knows how many places they are going to lose the 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏 project. This was certainly a family enterprise. I've told you how the family has enriched itself, allowing smuggling of crude and what have you. Not 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏, Bayraktar. Bayraktar TB2 were extensively deployed by Pakistan. 300 to 400 is a number I am given. India's air defense systems, the Akash-SAM and indigenous radar networks neutralized most incoming threats, including drones and missiles. The hostilities ended after Pakistan requested cessation following significant losses. The strategic message from India to Turkey is that this is a strong diplomatic signal. Next time, think twice before putting your foot in. I'm kind of wondering, India helped Operation Dost. When Turkey had this major earthquake, India sent in relief supplies as well as teams of doctors from, I think, the armed forces who went and worked in hazardous conditions. They earned and gained the trust and respect of the Turkish people, but the government is a beast of a different kind. Will this guy continue to be the president? I have my doubts. These are all tyrants. That's all I can say. Dictators. We'll see how it goes. The government's stance in the case of Turkey reinforces national security as a paramount concern in aviation and foreign partnerships. The lease termination order, Celebi ban, and tightened aviation scrutiny are part of India's calibrated response to Turkey's pro-Pakistan stance during a critical national security crisis. So this is where things stand now. And Turkey is probably going to think that, oh, it's not a big deal. Two leased aircraft coming back, so what? I'll have other things to do. But it is the people of India who need to make the choice. If I were you, if I were flying from India to any Western destination, I would wait for Air India to give you direct point to point flights. That's the best way to do it. In my opinion, that is the fastest way to do it. And Air India service is superb. Their new planes are great. I can tell you that initially, when they were using the older planes, there was a bit of inconvenience. But now I'm flying their newer planes. I could not be happier. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.